Mark O'Connor, owner of Oak Honest Records, and I'm here with Derek Smith of the Cosmic Vultures, talking about their new music, new singles, new album coming out soon on the label. Derek, how's it going?
This is too many Dereks in a good way. I feel like I don't know that many Dereks, so I feel weird when I say Derek. Like I'm talking to like my wife, or I'm like, yeah, Derek said this, and they're like, what do you mean? You just talk about yourself? I'm like, no, I'm talking about somebody else. They're like, oh, there's another Derek, and like, yeah, there's another Derek.
I had the same situation earlier, and it's an uncommon name. Like if you say Derek, no one's like looking at you like they haven't heard the name before, but you know, it's not that often that I do meet another Derek. And it's spelled the same way, spelled the right way.
The right way. Nobody can get it right. If I go to like a Starbucks or wherever, they're always like Derik, Derick. And I'm like, give me a break. And then when I spell it right, they're like, huh, isn't that weird? I'm like, no, that's the right way to spell it.
That's the right way. I've seen it with, Arek. I've seen Erik.
Yep.
But those are all wrong.
Exactly.
So the last album that you guys put out was on the label Too Many Shapes, and now we're getting ready to see the release of some new material from you guys. So how do you get from Too Many Shapes to the new album?
Oh man, the changes that have happened, and I'm sure with every band and artist with COVID, it's been just insane. What do you do? What do you do? I mean, we've been through a lot of changes. During Too Many Shapes, we had a drummer. After the album, he left the band. We added 2 more members since then. We have a new drummer and a new guitar player, Dalton and Dylan. So we're a 5-piece now. We talked about writing new material, and we definitely had new songs, but we got the news that our guitarist, John, was going to be going to school in Arizona for 9 months. So that kind of put like a sort of like, what do we do? But I was sitting on some solo material for a while, and I've been writing just throughout COVID. I had like 25 songs that were actually completed, not just ideas. They were like done. And I was like, what do I do with all this stuff? So I was like, should I release a solo album? So I was like, you know what? That's what I'm going to do in the meantime while we kind of get our stuff together. So I sat down, I recorded everything on Reason software. I have a Rode mic. So everything was kind of like, I don't know, rhythm guitar and my vocals. And I would add like quirky things here and there. Like for instance, on Back to Bed is one of the tracks on there. I just use a fountain pen on a notepad for percussion. And I really like the way it sounded. It was kind of like, oh, this is kind of different. I wanted to hear different sounds, and I wanted to be rhythmic. And I wanted to use like scissors and tape, and I wanted to just use things around my house that would sound really funky and really weird. So I did do that. I started doing things like that. Once the record started becoming like, okay, I had like 10 or 11 that I was like really happy about. I was like, do I release this under my name? Is it going to be like a Derek Smith solo album? And I was like, this just needs something else. And I would show some of my friends and show my family and stuff. And I would say like, does this sound like it's ready to you? Because as you know, like as an artist, like you never know when something's done sometimes, like especially when you release it a year later, you're like, I should have added that. It doesn't sound complete to me. And we have that constant struggle of like, is it done? But I said, what is the wow factor here? I need to add something. And I was like, the Cosmic Vultures could be this. And I called every member of my band individually, and I said, how would you feel if we completed this as a band record? And they were like, yeah, definitely. And we got together, I showed them all the songs, and they were like, yes, let's do this. This is a different sounding record than we usually do, because we're usually funky and psychedelic and things like that. But this is just me kind of personal, fighting demons and trying to get through life, at home, and feeling just the weirdness of the world. And so I feel like a lot of these songs are sad. They're a little bit emotional. I think one of the songs, I'm even like through the second verse, I can barely get through it because I'm really emotional. But they added a lot of good stuff. They added the things that I wanted them to. There's no acoustic drums in this whole record. It's all like just percussion and different things and different guitars being added. But we got through it, and now we have a record ready to go out September 21st. So we're really excited about this one.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting that its inception was as a solo album, which, I could imagine as a songwriter gives you more, I don't want to necessarily say freedom, but you can go down any avenue that you want to, because it's your solo material, and that, you know, you guys developed it and turned it into a Cosmic Vultures album. And I know it's a different approach for you guys, but I also feel like in some ways there's been elements of this sound throughout your discography that are maybe just kind of becoming more of the main ingredient. You guys have definitely had some, you know, experimental, mellow, acoustic, or melancholy flavor before.
Yeah, I think that's just what comes out of me as somebody who just plays acoustic guitar. I used to play piano as my solo instrument, but now it's all guitar. And I feel like for me, picking up an acoustic guitar, the first thing I go to is this really like melodic and soft and kind of depressing chords. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'm writing another depressing song. But it's that's just what comes out of me. And so like past songs, I mean, I'm one of the primary songwriters of the band. I wrote this record myself, but with one song was co-written with John Chesbro, the guitarist. But I don't write upbeat stuff very often anymore. I think in the past I wrote a couple here and there. Saint Suicide off of Mariana was kind of like my solo-ish sound, and then Vampires of Boston on the last one was right. gonna be a solo thing of mine. And then I was like, I got to add this to the album. It just brings something else that the album didn't have, and that was like softness. So this one was just all that, except for, I guess, the opening song, Wake Me Up, is a little upbeat. And then the second track, which is going to be our second single, is The Black Dance of the Gypsies, is like the only like rhythmic, funky song on the whole record for me. So this is, when I showed the guys, they were like, this is awesome, because we're evolving. Not that it evolved from music that wasn't good, because we think that our music when we put out is pretty good. Like we think it's fun, but it's always interesting to hear a band do something else that they're not, you know, usually known for. Kind of like the Red Hot Chili Peppers, like the whole 80s and early 90s are just like this funk group. And then like you hear Stadium Arcadium in 2006, and it's like a lot of it is just this band that went through so many different changes, and now they just sound like a completely different band, which isn't a bad thing. They're still a good band. So I think that whatever comes out. And our new guitar player, Dylan, he has a different sound than John. So a lot of our songs might not be as funky going. We don't even know what's going to happen, but we think this might be a little bit of the change of the guard. Maybe we'll be funky next record. We don't even know. So right. We'll just see what happens. But it's funny you say freedom. You mentioned the word freedom, and I felt really free making this. And then you forget that when you present the album to the band, all of a sudden you have 4 other opinions that you didn't realize you had before. So I'm like, guys, this is the album cover. And they're like, no, it's not. And I'm like, but it is. And they're like, no. I was like, shit, I forgot about this stuff. So that's been interesting, but we finally have, a direction and stuff. But 5 people in a band, you have to make sure everybody is at least semi-happy, or else you're not going to make any decisions. So, yeah.
Right. Yeah. You guys are a democratic group, but yeah, and I think it's going to be it's going to connect with a lot of people who have been going through a similar experience over the last year and a half, however long it's been, through COVID and lockdowns and etc. But today was kind of a gloomy, rainy day here in Vermont. I was driving around, listening to Sky Junkie, and it was just the perfect fit. So,
yeah, it's
bring on the changes. I like that you guys are taking chances, and it's still really sounding good and sounding like just an extension of your flavor. It doesn't, it's still really authentic, I think, to what the Cosmic Vultures, can do.
Yeah, I think a lot of the songs on this record, especially, they all deal with something different. I think there's a lot of different forms of depression. You don't have to be necessarily a sad person to feel what depression feels like, or isolation, unsure of yourself. Even a song like Black Dance of the Gypsies has some lyrics in there, like about taking your mask off. Like, what does that mean? It's like, people have to put on different masks in front of different people because they're not comfortable with who they are. So they have to pretend to be somebody else. And who are you? And all your relationships with people. I mean, this whole album for me, it's called In Circles because I feel like we go in circles as humans. Everything is a cycle. It's a constant cycle. And then you feel like you have everything figured out. And then 3 years later, everything happens all over again. And you're like, I thought I learned, but I guess I didn't learn. I guess I'm not smart enough. And there's a song called Low that's on the album. And it's the chorus is about somebody with like Alzheimer's disease and forgetting people's names and the cycle of life. You know, you're born, you do stuff, you get old, you die. And I think that's you got to find what's your thing, what's your shtick, you know, what keeps you going, you know. And for me, it's always been songwriting. So just if I can just lay down a song every couple of weeks or just feel it, and that feels really, really good. But you know, when you present your babies to a band and they're like, nope, not that one, I'm like, oh, you sure? Because I love it. But that didn't happen. That only happened with one song. Only one person disagreed with the way it sounded, so we ended up cutting it. But I do feel like every song on here has a different theme. And then all those themes combined kind of make up the life of somebody, like going in circles. So I like the concept. I think it's universal. I think people can relate to it.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And I think also it's interesting that we've gone from Too Many Shapes to In Circles. So as a songwriter and musician, looking at this album as a whole, what would you say is your favorite musical moment from the entire album?
Oh boy, I like the quirkiness of some of the songs. Again, like this is a do-it-yourself album, like a lot of our albums are. We don't necessarily. I think we did one album or one EP in a studio. That was our very first one. Ever since then, we've done it. Done it at our homes, and so I recorded this at home and then sent the songs to my bandmates, and they would add things or come over here and add things. So there's been some quirky moments, like I mentioned before, like me using a fountain pen and a notepad for percussion, trying to figure out ways to do things. There's a song called One Step, and our guitarist, John, he played slide and he used the fingernail clippers to play slide guitar in that song. And it has a really weird sound. Every time I turn it on, I'm like waiting for it to come in and I'm like, oh, that is so strange. But I like that. I like weird sounds, you know. I don't want to just keep redoing the same thing over and over again. You know, I think that, you know, eventually bands just get kind of boring when they're like, all right, let's just put another 8 songs, 10 songs out that just kind of sound like us. I think it's fun to keep moving on and trying different things. But those moments like John playing slide with fingernail clippers, my pen percussion, just funny little quirky moments like that are my favorite moments, and they make me smile. And for Sky Junkie too, sometimes you listen to your own song and you go, no, I should have did this, I should have did that. But with Sky Junkie, when I hear it after it comes back from the first solo section, it comes back into the verse, I always smile and go, that's good, I feel good about that. The chord progression, it's light, it's fluffy, it makes me feel good. And I think, especially being a Beatles fan, you know, listening to John Lennon interviews, his whole life has been like, you know, I think he had a 1980 magazine Playboy interview, and the guy was like, I'm going to name Beatles songs and you tell me what you think. This song, he's like, crap. This song, crap. This song, crap. I'm like, these are some of my favorite songs of all time that he's shitting on that he wrote. I'm like, how? And that's like right before he died. And I was like, that really sucks to think that like you did this big body of work and you're like, I'm not really happy with any of it. It's like, that's depressing that, you know, just being creative in general, if you can't feel happy about a percentage of it, that's just, I can't even fathom that. So I was at least glad that like Sky Junkie brought me happiness. Walking in the cemetery today and listening to Sky Junkie on repeat going, I'm proud of this one. So that felt good.
What a morbid guy you are.
I'm pretty well. I mean, you've been at the graveyard. It's just right next to my apartment. I can't help it. It's just there for your walking pleasure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, I think when you take those chances, when you take those risks, that's when you get the best payoffs. You know, that's you know, when it hits, that there's no greater reward than, you know, something unique that's truly yours and sounds good. And you know, I'm curious, did you have a favorite song out of the batch when they were kind of demoed out and just roughed out? And did that change after it was fleshed out by the band?
Honestly, my favorite song out of the batch is one that was not used. So isn't that the way it goes? I don't know if it's going to be something that I do solo. You know, I really like live. Yeah, I really like melodic, pretty songs that have really like pretty chord changes and things. That usually gets me going, you know. but I don't really have a favorite off this one. I think they're all kind of special in their own way to me. And I'm one of those guys where I listen to, I mean, I'm a music fanatic. I listen to so many albums by so many artists, and I'm always like, why is this album 16 songs? Clearly not all 16 are good. Maybe 9 of them are good, which is still good. That's more than half. But I'm like, they could have made this a 10-song album and it probably would have been one of the best ever if they had just cut the fat. And that's what I think when I'm doing anything. That's why, I mean, I don't know if anyone's noticed who listens to us, but like Mariana was 8 songs, Too Many Shapes, 8 songs. This one's 8 songs. That to me is a good length for an album because it's digestible, one, because we know nowadays people don't have the attention span to listen to anything more than, I don't know, a couple songs. But just for me, it's like, keep it short, keep it sweet, cut the fat, take the ones that you think are really good, and hopefully everybody else thinks they're good too. I think the band, they all have different ideas on what the best song is, because we were talking about what's the single, what's the song, and we kind of split between Sky Junkie and the Black Dance of the Gypsies, and they have 2 different sounds. One of them is melodic and kind of breezy. The other one is like funky and rhythmic and kind of fun. So we decided to just release both of them. So Sky Junkie on 9/7 and Black Dance of the Gypsies on 9/14, and then 9/21 would be the full album. We actually had somebody who wanted to put another song on there, and I was like, I think for an 8-song album, I think 2 is enough. 3 is almost half the album released before it even comes out. So we thought 2 was good, but everybody has their own idea on what the best song is. So I think that's fun. That makes it like, it feels like the album is better as a whole than just 1 or 2, which is really important to me, is to not just write yourself. A lot of bands from the past have been like, well, we have 10 songs, but one of them is the song. The rest of them are just filler. And I'm like, I don't write filler. I try not to write filler. If I finish a song, it means I like it. So.
Right. To see it to completion, to invest in it, you would hope that it's worthwhile.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yep.
So what would you say your writing process would consist of? Like, how does that look? Does it start with a particular portion of the song, or do you start with a particular instrument?
Yeah. Usually I just look at my acoustic guitar. I'm looking at it right now. I'll be doing something, watching a movie, watching TV, writing something down. I don't know. I look at my guitar and I go, oh yeah, that would be nice. And then I go pick it up and I put it on my lap and I say, what's going to happen here? I think people, and especially me, I go, I'm going to write a great song today. And you go over and you try to play something and it's just dog shit. It always seems to happen when you least expect it. I have the guitar and I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. And then I see where it goes, sort of I have, oh, this must be the verse. It sounds like a verse to me. Where can I go from here? And then you play with chords. That F sounds like crap. Let me try C. Nope, C doesn't sound good. Let me try E. Oh, that sounds good. And then the song starts to develop on its own. And then usually after that, I write the lyrics. And it's because I'm usually singing gibberish from what I just make up words as I go, record it on my phone. And then I go, hopefully I can remember it tomorrow. And then I forget about it for a few days, come back and go, oh my God, I like that a lot. Or, oh man, why did I think that was good? But sometimes I get lost and I go, what am I going to write? Black Dance of the Gypsies. I had this, literally, it was midnight. And I was like, should I just go to bed or try to write a song? And I picked up my guitar. And what I did was I went on Reason and I just kind of like got my mic set up and I just hit record. And I just started playing the chord changes. I didn't know what the chord changes were going to be. I just started improving. And I was like, oh, this is kind of tight. It's kind of fun. And I finished the kind of the structure, I guess. I didn't know what it was going to be. And I said, I need lyrics. So I went into my notes section, scrolled, and I had a song that had lyrics for I never used. And I said, oh my God, I forgot about these lyrics. And they just fit right in. And I was like, I love how that happens. Sometimes it's just beautiful. And I recorded the song in one night. And then it was just me and my vocals and acoustic. And then from there, I gave it to John, our guitarist, and he mixed it and he started adding different things to it. And we started going, oh my God, it sounds like tribal now. It's like rhythmic. It's different. It's just a different animal now. And our drummer, Dalton, came over and he added all kinds of things, tambourine, maracas. We have a whole crate of just percussion instruments that we would just, let's try that one. What the hell is that? Try it. Who cares? And it just became what it is now. And our bassist, Steve, he's always, Steve's cut from a different cloth because I can be like, yeah, this is the song. Here are the chord changes. Nope, I don't need it. I already got it. He's just he just knows what I'm doing. So he'll just
Yeah.
plug in and just do the bass line and be like, what do you think? And I'm like, it's perfect. How did
He
you
is
do?
he is the Groovazoid.
Yeah, it's wild how he can do that. So it's nice though, because at first, like you said, I have the freedom to do my own thing. If they like it, then they can go and add their 2 cents and add their things, and it always ends up sounding a little bit different is when they're adding their 2 cents into it, and that's what makes it great, is just collaborating. It's always more fun than being solo, though. When you are solo, you can pick your own songs, but they seem to like 98% of them, so that was huge for me. I was like, wow, you guys like these 8? Well, that's beautiful. There's an album right there. So yeah, it's usually for me, the music starts with the rhythm guitar and then I just move on from there. So
Yeah, and that's a good starting point. You can map out a lot from there.
For sure.
So I think that's all the questions that we had.
Awesome. Thank you for doing this. And also just being Oak Honest Records, like just being our label, what you guys do and what you do, we really, you help us a lot and everything. And we love being a part of Oak Honest Records. And we're so excited to see where it goes. And it's already growing, and there's already a bunch of new artists and bands on the label, which is super exciting. Oh, yeah. So that's awesome. And I know there's going to be a show in November in East Hampton, if I'm not correct, if I'm correct.
Yeah, that's the plan. We're doing a label showcase, and we'll have as of right now, everyone's confirmed. So we'll have the whole gang will be there doing a meet and greet, and yeah, I'm really excited for it. It's been a great year and a half or so of being a label, and I'm excited to see where we can take it.
Yeah, definitely. That's really exciting, and yeah, I mean, it's comforting. It's like I don't know, having somebody on your side, and that's what we love about it, is like we have Oak Honest on our side, and we're excited to move forward, with what we can do with you guys. And who knows, I mean, maybe a year from now, 2 years from now, there's 15, 20 bands under the label and things are blowing up, and we can always be like, well, we were kind of like right there in the beginning, and we'll have that on everybody else. But yeah, we're thinking about some exciting things for merchandise too. We were thinking about, there's a website, I forget what the website's called, but I think you can design what you want for shirts, pajamas, underwear, whatever you can place, mugs, anything you want, and you can have the person just buy it off the website, so you don't have to like actually physically get the merch. You can show the website and be like, you can buy any of our things. All you have to do is just order it online, and then it gets shipped right to the person, to the fan, which we love.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Yeah, so we might go that direction, because especially with our t-shirts, we don't have any mediums or smalls anymore. So everybody during our shows is like, can I get a small? I'm like, what do I do? Do I just buy more smalls, or go this direction where it's like, here's the link right here, just click here and you can get one shipped to you in 5 days or whatever. So we're going to go that direction, I think, which is really helpful. And but we're really excited about this album, In Circles. We hope people listen to it and give us feedback and whatnot. It's going to go up on September 21st on all platforms. I'm toying with the idea of YouTube. I haven't used YouTube in the past too much. I think Seven Witches EP, I think the songs are up on YouTube. And I think I'm going to start doing more things on YouTube and doing videos. So hopefully,
I think it could be worth it.
Yeah.
I find that, if I'm sending an email or need to share a video in some way, YouTube is a pretty accessible link to give someone, whereas like they may not use Spotify or iTunes or whatever. Like, yeah. I don't think it would hurt you to be on YouTube.
Right. Right.
By any means.
Yeah, and hopefully we're going to be doing a music video for the Black Dance of the Gypsies. We already kind of have a plan, but 2 of our members got hit with COVID recently, so it's been really crappy and stuff, and for them. And hopefully when everyone's healthy, we'll be back playing shows again. And I don't even think we've done. I think we did Sky Junkie a couple times as a band, but these tracks are so new to us. We haven't done any of them as a band, so we'll see what happens though. Yeah. So thanks for taking the time to chat with me.
Of course, man. Anytime.
Cool. Thanks for watching, everybody, and enjoy the album.